Welcome to another episode of Bars and Threads featuring a purist, a hip hop head, Joe 360, hip hop historian, lyricism to fashion and sneakers to no end. And I want to represent you guys to episode 17. It's all about that dollar. And this time what we're going to do is we're not just going to talk about the dollar. It's all about the dollar, get it? I'm going to break down some things, and I haven't been here in a while, so give me a little bit of grace, but I'm going to break down some things about this battle between T.I. versus 50 and what was supposed to be a, how should I put it? It was supposed to be a versus, and from what I understand, 50 said I would never get on stage with a rap, whatever, blah, 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 all of the drama, all of the speculation, all of the diss tracks back and forth. But we are now going to break down who would actually win that versus. And I can't be biased, you know what I'm saying? And I'm really not a G Unit fan, so I can't, and I'm not a T.I. fan either. So I just wanted to break it down for song, lyric for lyric. So that's why this episode took a while, because I actually sat down and I listened for album, and I'm going to give you an analysis just like it was a boxing match on a versus between the two. All right, let's get right to it. All right, 51st 3 songs of How to Rob mixtape. He's got like 3 songs on that mixtape that I honestly can say, all right, that mixtape or that album or whatever he released I would consider that maybe 3 songs off of that. I wasn't a fan of the whole album. I'm not going to give you lyricist of the year for that, but let's keep it moving. And then we're going to go 11 out of 19 for Get Rich or Die Trying. Again, that was a classic for you. 8 songs I did not appreciate as much. Not saying that I'm being biased, but I kind of go for the even kills. So I gave y'all even kills after listening to all of this music. And now I'm going to come up with T.I.P. He comes with 2 out of 18 from his first album. And that album was called I'm Serious. Just 2. That was all he had, but it's real close. 50 comes with the second album, and The Massacre, and he came out with 11 of 22 that I saw that should be focused on. T.I. then comes out with his second album, which is Trap Music, and he has 7 out of 16. I rated him on that one. I think that T.I. was starting to pick it up, and he was starting to turn into, like, if you want to base it off basketball, it was like a Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, you know what I'm saying? But in 15 years, none of them did what Jordan did in 15 years. So keep it moving, but that's where we are with it. So I said Trap Music, T.I. He only had 7 out of 16. The next one was 50, and that was the Curtis album. That was his third album. He had 10 out of 18 songs, so 50 is really high right now on beating a versus right now. T.I. Urban Legend, his third album, he had 15 out of 17 on that. Now that was almost basically I would look at that as a classic album. So with a classic album and like that really kind of like tightened up things a little bit right there. And I think a lot of people will agree with me if you listen to these albums back and forth. And that's what I did. I listened to a 50 Cent album, and then I listened to a T.I. album, and then that's how I got my analysis and my critique of this particular versus if it was ever to happen, but who knows. We're gonna go right back into it. Urban Legend, like I said, 15 out of 17. 50 came out with Self-Destruct. I gave him 6 out of 18. Whoa. T.I. came out with the album King. He had 14 out of 17. It's really starting to get close. 50 came out with another album, Animal Ambition, his 5th album, 1 out of 11. Maybe a possible, like we playing spades and we going board or something. That speaks for itself there. T.I., Down with the King, Gangsta Grills. He had 13 out of 31 that I felt like that were really making an impression on the public. The T.I., The Leak Unfolded, and 11 more albums. Verbally and musically, 50 would be beat in an onslaughter. I'm not saying it to be, he got mixtapes, he got power and all of that, he got his trolling and all of that. So you want to add all of that up, it still wouldn't be T.I.'s catalog against him, and I hate to say that. So it don't matter how many shows that you put this song to T.I. on and his family, it doesn't matter. Because the onslaughters in the numbers. So if we really want to break down the numbers, let's break down who had what. The devastation starts here. You have over 51 songs by T.I. just in the amount of albums that 50 has and the amount of T.I. has. T.I. has basically close to 49, I would say close to 52 songs, and 50 came up short of 50. He was only 42 songs, which is really close. But then if you go extended catalog and everything else, T.I. is basically murdering you. Anything you have a track for, he would have an answer for, basically based off what I've heard, But that's just me. I am not the consensus of the verses, but I am giving you what a hip hop head would truly do, and that's sit back and listen to all the lyrics. I would just say that the trolling, if that's what you're good at, you're good at. I do also have to say this. Shout out to Lloyd Banks. Banks and Buck have a better chance of competing against T.I. than 50 does. That's sad to say, but that is real. So G Unit, once again, I said that before, and no, I'm not a hater on G Unit. I'm not hating on any of that. I'm just breaking down lyrics, and I break down the lyrics. So trolling is funny for those who like being those type of people. But me, there's no trolling with me. This is all okay. This is what it is. Let's go. If you're going lyrically, you know what I mean. I'm just looking at the synopsis of lyrical. I'm not looking at a lot of the banter back and forth between the two of them about mothers and it's just it's going a little further than what it should. It's really starting to get crazy to me, I guess 50 didn't want the verses, but I just believe that just saying no, that would have probably helped the entire situation. Hey, I don't want to do it with you, but trolling and being something that is not lyrical, I don't agree with, but that's just my opinion. I guess you can say that I live like someone like a robot, you know what I mean? So, but at the same time, I would have just said, no, I don't want to do it. I don't, if you come as an MC to handle business, just handle your business. Creating a commentary about another man or woman that's black is crazy. I'm sorry, that's, I don't know. I don't want to even go into any levels of what I feel it is, because there's a lot of fans, there's a lot of people that might agree with me, but I'm only stating what the actual factuals are. So make sure you please like and subscribe. Comment if you have to. If you want me to review something else about something that's hypocritical, we can actually go through that situation. But as an MC 50, you are definitely, this is your loss. This is your L. The tail of the tape is quite clear there. The Threads pod is coming soon. I'm not going to say how fast it's coming, but you got to believe I'm trying to get it released quick, because I think it's been about a month since I released the last two pods. But this one is definitely one of those ones that hit home for all of you who wanted to know the numbers. Those numbers are actual factual. You can listen to those albums for yourself, and you will come up with probably the same answer, or even probably worse. Who knows? I don't know. When it comes down to it, I will be doing a fashion pause coming up next. One thing I do want to say is that when I do these fashion pods, I'm pointing out things that are really taking off artistically, and a lot of it is based on opinion, and some of it is based on statistics and numbers of these fashion brands, and what's comfort, what looks the same, what's printed, whatever else. We're gonna go through all of that, but I do like to talk about some of the sneakers that came out also. So on the next pod, which will be coming up very very soon, we will be talking about some threads. So just give them a fair warning. Hip hop still will be on there, but it will be very more about the fashion. Oh, by the way, Hip Hop Quotable for episode 17 is Visions, Jay Worthy song featuring Method Man. The song is called Visions by Jay Worthy featuring Method Man, and of course it's Meth's verse that stood out really major on that one. I have to give it to him. So that was the first like recent, 16, or I don't know how many bars is on that. I didn't count. That I've actually put up so people can stop saying that they're not making good music and at this era. There are MCs that are coming back, and that's what this podcast is about. Fundamental Facts Friday will be coming soon also, but what I wanted to let y'all know is that we're at 1988, so the years is coming up, so it's about to get real, it's about to get interesting, the talk is about to get more, I would say, great, relative material to when people can really catch up to what I'm saying, because it's been a lot of it that's people like, whoa, like, nobody wants to hear a lot of the things, from the elder years, but when we hit 1988 and on up, I think the golden era is just going to shake up things in this podcast. So I was excited to actually get back on here and make it happen. So this is episode 17. I am Joe 360. This is Bars and Threads, and there's nothing else needs to be said. And I'm out.